We're here down at Suncorp Stadium ahead of the European champions England's first game against Haiti, and there's been a lot of conversation not only about the football but about the politics as well. Smithies, tell me, what do we need to know?
Yeah, as you said, a lot of talk about football, but also about political footballs, particularly the statement that the England players put out about the bonuses they feel they're owed, and that they're going to have more talks about after the World Cup. The players just wanted to talk about and focus on the football, but of course they got inundated with questions from particularly the English media on where they're at and what their mindset is like and all that kind of thing. But just lots of straight bats from Millie Bright, the England captain, and determined just to talk about the football.
Now, Sarina Wiegman didn't shy away from saying that England should have lots of pressure on them, obviously European champions. Should we expect a comfortable victory for them?
In theory, of course, logic says that they'll brush Haiti aside. But one of the interesting things that was talked about at the press conference, Sarina Wiegman talking about the tightness of results in the first few games here. Obviously, Australia only just beating Ireland, New Zealand shocking Norway in the first game, even Canada, the Olympic champions, getting held by Nigeria. And she was talking about how the teams just below the very best teams have got better and better. And that, she said, it makes for a much more exciting World Cup because we're going to see, she said, far more contests that are genuinely contests rather than one-sided. But this one in particular, really, you can't see it going any other way than form.
Obviously, with Leah Williamson out of this tournament, Millie Bright is wearing the captain's armband. And she spoke about how the players are staying focused on the game as well. And there's not too much focus, no focus on the negotiations that have been held off until the tournament's over. Do you think they can stay focused on the game?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're razor sharp focus now because Millie Bright's been focused so much on recovery and getting to this World Cup. She's not going to think about anything else now than how she performs at the heart of defence, particularly without Leah Williamson. So there's a new look in many ways to this England side. Some of them have got something to prove. They again, back to that expectation, being the European champions now, it's a different level of expectation. So they've got more than enough to worry about in a footballing sense. They've parked the other stuff. It's us lot who keep asking about it.
Now, Sarina Wiegman was she dodged the questions about the squad and what the starting 11 is going to be. Does it seem like it's going to be the expected starting 11?
I think so, but as she kept saying, I'm not going to tell you. She did say there was some selection challenges. She was pushed on which ones in particular, and she kept laughing and saying, "I'm not going to tell you." So I think she was enjoying toying with the press pack. I think it'll be a predictable side, but we've seen already with Sam Kerr that with a straight face, Tony Gustafsson just let everyone think what they wanted to think, and then this sort of great shock when the team list was announced. So that clearly you assume there'll be nothing quite as dramatic, but until that team sheet comes out, no one will be absolutely certain. And
obviously a lot of eyes from Australian perspective will be watching this game because Australia could potentially face England in the round of 16. How many eyes will be Tony Gustafsson, or will be the players watching this game as well?
Well, the England players talked about how they've been watching games so far. I think a lot of players do watch the other games. It's a good way to relax. There's so many hours to fill. You can only train really for an hour and a half every day. There's all the analysis and stuff to do. But I think watching games is a great way of passing time. And you get to see your opponents. And, of course, so many of these players play with each other. Like, I asked Millie Bright about Sam Kerr, and, she was saying how sad she was for her. A lot of these guys are club mates. So they'll be looking to see how their mates are going, even though those mates are in different national teams.
And from a Haiti perspective, it's going to be a difficult game for them. Obviously, it's their first World Cup as well. Sarina Wiegman asked a lot about that, and she obviously gave them a lot of credit because they've beaten a lot of tough opponents. Do you think we'll expect anything different from them?
I think one of the great questions about this World Cup, with it being expanded to 32, is how many one-sided contests we would get. You'd look at in theory, this could be one of them, but what generally happens in the group stages is that teams do enough. So I can imagine England scoring 2, 3, 4 goals and essentially putting the queue in the rack. There are players coming back from injury. There are question marks around the squad. They will not want to exert themselves unnecessarily when there are injuries to avoid, etc., etc. So I think the days of those blowout scores are over, but I could be wrong.
We'll have to wait and see. It will be a great, fascinating game here at Suncorp Stadium. Come down and check it out, and follow us on KEEPUP, and we'll have all the latest news about the Women's World Cup.